Well, hello there, y'all. It's me, Jessica. Gosh, am I tired today? I went to Aftershock yesterday with my mom, and it was so fun. We had a lot of fun, more crowd surfers than I've ever dealt with in my entire life. However, do I have a story for you guys? And let me just say that the bottom line is, if you have a dream, don't stop chasing it until it comes true, okay? Because if I had given up at any point in the night, this would not have happened, okay? So, I have had this dream, as many of you who've seen my videos may know. I wrote a book, okay? During the writing process, because my book is about, basically, synopsis, a fan who falls in love with the lead singer of a band. They fall in love with each other and they have this very intense relationship, okay? I am making more books. However, that was the first book. And I needed someone on the inside, someone who could give me some sort of information in regards to the lifestyle of a rock star. Because, I mean, obviously, I'm not a rock star. And so I was able to, thankfully, talk to Matt Walst from 3 Days Grace. Sorry, I got a lot of chickens, they're making a lot of noise. I was able to talk to him multiple times on Intro.live, and he was able to give me some really good information for their lifestyle and what it's like. Not only that, because he's from Canada, finding out what it's like, you know, being Canadian and traveling and, you know, a lot of aspects of that lifestyle. So he was able to give me a lot of intel, and I was able to use a lot of the information he gave me in regards to certain aspects of my book. Never once did I put a direct detail from what he told me in my book. I don't want to obviously get in legal trouble, but it was very helpful. It was super amazing to have that insider information. Okay, so once I got the book published, the one thing I wanted to do more than anything was give him a copy of my book. Because as a thank you, because like he gave me all this great intel and I was able to actually feel confident enough to publish my book. So yesterday he was performing at Aftershock. 3 Days Grace performed, and it was so cool. I will upload the clip, the video I took of one of their songs. I couldn't upload more than one. I couldn't even take more than one because there were so many crowd surfers. Like, it felt like I was having to look behind me more than in front of me during most of the show. But it was interesting how this all played out, okay? And everything had to play out in the way it did in order for this outcome to happen. So basically, I was determined, and my mom, thankfully, she's very much an extrovert, so she was able to sort of help talk to the right people. And I was able to talk to a few people about who I could maybe give my book to get to him. I didn't think I would even have the chance to give it to him directly because, I mean, hello, he's a rock star and they're super busy and, you know, putting on a show and stuff. So the likelihood of me actually talking to him was like zilch, okay? Well, talked to a few people that kept saying, we don't know, you know. At one point, after they got done performing, we tried to talk to this one security guy, and he said, oh, you don't want to talk to me, you want to talk to the supervisor. But he was super busy too, so he said, go over to the other side of the stage, which we're talking getting through a crowd of thousands of people was very interesting. Go to the other side and try and flag him down. Well, we couldn't because he was very busy, so we got this other guy who was also a security guy, and we told him sort of what was going on. He then went and said, you know, oh, let me see if I can get him, but he disappeared. But there was this other security guy who was standing by the gate that separated basically, you know, the masses from all of the performers backstage. We talked to a few times. I'm not going to drop any names. I don't want to get anyone in trouble. But he was very nice, and he actually said, he was like, okay, like, this was the third time I was talking to him. He's like, all right, I don't see you, but you're going to go back here and you're going to go and find the lady in the blue shirt. We're like, oh, okay. So we go behind the scenes. We go behind basically where the stage is. It was on the right-hand side of the stage. We find the lady in the blue shirt. She can't help us, but she tells us, oh, you know what? Keep going back and to the right, and you'll see trailers, and somebody back there should be able to help you. Okay, so we're walking back where, like, all of the musicians walk, like where all the crew, the staff, the members who help bands, where they are all walking. And we're back there and we're looking and we follow this like path, and basically it's like a dead end, okay? Because it's like the only way, if we keep going, we're going to go back out to where everyone is, which we didn't want to do that. We were like, okay, we've come this far. We got to stick with it. So we talked to this one person. He's not able to help us, but then we figure, you know, we were told to find the person in the blue shirt, so maybe other blue shirt people will be able to give us more information. So that's when we found these two guys in blue shirts. One of them, he was very, very nice. Turns out he's also a musician, and we're going to his show on the 25th, which I'm so excited about. Anyway, he's talking to us, and we're like, just like I told him the story, told him, what my hope and my dream was. And keep in mind, I have my book with me this entire day. It's not a light book, okay? So I'm holding my book, and I've got it, in my arm, and I'm basically, every person I talk to, I'm telling them this freaking story. And he actually was not only super interested in my book, he also was talking about maybe, possibly performing my song in my book, which I'm so excited about, but we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, we'll see what happens on the 25th. He's like, oh, you really want this one guy. This one guy, he's in charge of the whole place. He should be able to help you. Well, we couldn't find this one guy. I wanted to find him because he kept saying, this is the guy you need to find. We couldn't find him. But then there was this other guy who was like a security guy. He was like behind the scenes type security, not so much like, tackling people out of the way, just more so making sure everything runs smoothly. And he eventually, this is like, we're talking waiting for 45 minutes to an hour between walking around and talking to different people. He finally said, you know what, wait right here, I'll be right back. So we did. Me and my mom were standing there, we're waiting, and we're still talking to the one band guy, the one musician guy. And then the security guy, he comes back and he's like, girls, follow me. Okay, so we start following him. We leave the security guy, or we leave the blue shirt guy. We're like, okay, bye, it was nice talking to you. We go and follow the security guy. And as we follow him, he's like, all right, I need you guys to play it cool, because we're going to go in an area where you're not really allowed, and I don't want to get in trouble. We're like, yeah, we don't want to get anyone in trouble. Like, that was never our goal. Didn't want to get anyone in trouble, okay? But so he takes us to this area, which, by the way, as I'm going to be, I'm working on my second book, this was such crucial information to have for my second book, is being able to see all the behind the scenes stuff of a music festival, because hint, hint, there will be a smidgen of a music festival in my second book. So it was super cool to be able to be back there, to see everyone walking around, to see all the like different tents and the different areas where all the musicians are like going into. Well, then all of a sudden, blue shirt guy, musician guy, comes running up, and he's like, hey, I just saw him. He's in one of those little carts. He's driving by. And at this point, the security guy's like, no. We don't want to get his attention, okay? Because we're not allowed to have them back here, and we don't want to get anyone in trouble. And we're like, yeah, no, it's okay. Don't want to get anyone in trouble. So then the guy who was supposed to be the main head honcho that would have gotten us what we wanted, he drove by, and we're like trying to play it really cool, trying to tuck into a corner, like, you don't see us. Anyway, then he sets, like, he has a stand. It was like I don't know, like a four-way, if you will, between like places to go into. And he said back in this one direction was where all the trailers were for all the musicians. And we were just standing there, okay? And he's like looking, and he's trying to like see if there's anyone from the 3 Days Grace crew there. Never passed by. Like, we're standing for a good like 15 minutes in this one spot, just looking, like keeping eyes open, trying to find people. All right. And I was like, I didn't want to give up. I was like, we've come so far. We've done so much to get to this point. I don't want to give up. But Korn was going to be playing in like 30, 40 minutes. And I really didn't want to miss Korn. Like, I was already missing Bad Omens. And, I was like, oh, missing Bad Omens. But I really don't want to miss Korn. Because, like, that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to go last night, is to actually see Korn perform live. Which, by the way, got to see a song. And they were awesome. And I did actually end up getting to see a little bit of Bad Omens, which was really cool. Well, I swear, I don't know if it was because I was praying so much, going, God, please make this happen. God, just please get us, somebody who can help us. Like, prayer was a huge component in this whole thing, I do believe. But then, wouldn't you know it, right when I'm thinking all hope is lost and we're doing this for nothing and there's no one I'm going to be able to give my book to get to him, Matt Walst walked right in front of me. And I went, Matt! And he looked at me and I looked at him, and I was able to he stopped moving, thankfully. He didn't just blow me off. He's a super nice guy. And he looked at me and I'm like, hi, my name is Jessica, and we spoke a few times on Intro.live, and I'm the author. I was the one writing the book. And he was like, oh yeah, I remember you. Very cool. And I told him, I got the book published. I wanted to give him a copy of it as a thank you. And he actually said, oh, well, that's awesome. I'm going to take this book and I'm going to put it in my trailer so that way I don't lose it. And that was so cool. And then my mom, thankfully, because I'm not really like the photogenic person, but my mom was like, oh, can I take a picture of you two? And he's like, yeah, totally. And he like stuck his arm around me, and I actually have a picture of him holding my book. And he's like, I got to stick my arm around him. It was so freaking surreal, man. And then after that, like, he went back to his trailer, I'm guessing. I don't know, he disappeared. But the security guy and my mom and I all looked at each other and we geeked out so hard. Like, we all gave each other this huge hug. It was so cute and so fun. And it was so adorable how invested these people got into this whole thing and trying to make it happen. And especially since I know they were so busy with their jobs and I didn't want to, keep them from their jobs. I didn't want to get anyone in trouble. But having that dream of being able to give Matt Walst a copy of my book and actually like pushing for it and fighting for it and doing everything I could to make sure it got to him, I feel like that mixed with prayer, mixed with perseverance, it allowed for me to have my dream come true. And so I gave him my book, and it like, I don't know if he's going to read it. I don't care. But my point is that that's what I wanted to do so much. I wanted to do that for so long since I published the book, to be able to give him a copy of it. And I actually handed it directly to Matt Walst himself. So anyway, like I said, my point in all this is if you have a dream, then fight for it. Go for it. Do what you got to do. Don't Cinderella your way through it and just hope and pray it happens. Put in the effort because it's so worth it in the end. Yeah, it was an amazing night, and I just figured maybe if anyone hears my story, maybe they will be inspired to go and fight for their dreams and, work hard to make their dreams come true. So, yeah, like I said, very tired today, very, very sore, but it was all worth it. It was absolutely all worth it. So, hope y'all have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.